Love, it has been good to me this time around. Things were they were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact and I can find good evening and welcome to another episode of the X-RAD show, the talk show that really does get you talking on the Xandermonium Network. I'm Xander Gibb.
And I'm Margret Echeverria.
Oh yes, sirree. On today's show, we have Jason Prince, our entertainment correspondent, coming to talk to us about what's going on in the world of entertainment and the best of hot topics. So you can tweet us. The tweet dates are on the X-RAD Facebook show page for today. You can comment in the feed that's around the live video, and we will endeavor to involve you in the conversation. Now, if you are having some problems with the live feed, click refresh. Sometimes you have to do that quite a lot because the Facebook server is crap, basically. You watch the show stop now because I've said Facebook is crap. And also, you need to, if you're watching on a device, you need to make sure you are using the most recent version of Facebook so that you can watch with ease. Welcome back to the show, Margaret. How is the world with you?
Well, we got quite a shock today. Buster, my dog, who is a miracle in my life, has been limping for a while, and I was worried that maybe he had Lyme disease. I mean, he's been vaccinated for it, but he did have a tick earlier this year when the weather started to thaw. And so I thought, well, I better get this checked out. And it turns out he's torn his ACL, which is a knee.
Oh, gosh.
And then the vet typed up an estimate for me, and I looked at the estimate of how much it was going to cost to fix it, and my jaw just hit the floor. I didn't have that kind of money in my emergency funds.
Yeah, and what is this emergency fund that you speak of? Because I think most of us kind of had an emergency fund. It's like all but gone, and that's a concern too.
The emergency fund has really been strapped over the last 2 years because I was laid off 2 years ago, and I've been contracting ever since, which everyone knows is a very expensive thing to do.
Right.
You sort of pay to work and hope that you make a profit most of the time, but a lot of the time you don't. So, the truth is the emergency fund has been gone for several months now.
And I believe you've done a GoFundMe to help Buster get his ACL fixed.
Yes, I did put together a GoFundMe page this afternoon, and I've just posted it to my Facebook page. I'm hoping that you will be so kind as to grab it for your page, and then people can see our story about Buster. I mean, the most wonderful thing about Buster is that when our son passed away, we had Buster, and you can tell your 7-year-old living daughter that you're not getting out of bed today, but you can't say that to your dog. And
right.
I tell you, this dog saved our lives. He made us get outside every day and just see the world and breathe and take in the sunshine, and he managed to get us out of that grief state many, many times.
Right. Yeah, I often wonder when these people say, no, I don't like pets, I don't want to have an animal, which is obviously their choice. But, I've had some great pets in my life. When I lived in London, I had a cat, this big cat that we rescued, called Tipsy. We didn't get to choose the name, but it was like a love affair for me because I was his dad, I was his parent. And I think that when you have like another living thing to look out for, it's kind of like you are, a parent to this being. And so when they're sick or when something happens to them, it hits you as much as it would with a human. And some people say, oh no, animals are inanimate, they don't have a soul and blah, blah, blah. But, I kind of beg to differ, because the joy I've had from pets, and I'm sure that you have too, when you do with Buster, it's, it's a lot more than that.
Oh, Buster is such an important part of our lives, and I believe that he does have a soul. I think he has feelings, and I think that that he's very attached to our family as we are attached to him. And also, having a pet is a really great way to teach your child responsibility. I mean, it's definitely taught our daughter how to care for living things on on any level. And Buster's her best friend. He cheers us up when we're really blue, and I'll be honest, there are family members who suffer from depression in my family, and there's nothing like a dog to cheer you up. He's so valuable, and we owe him so much, and he's only 7 years old. He's got a long life ahead of him.
Absolutely. And that's, I'm just about to share in the live feed the link. Don't feel pressured, but if you feel you can help, then please click on the link and share. Oh, that's nice. Zell said he was privileged too. I want to just say hello to everybody in the live feed. Hey to Tommy. Hey to Gina. Hi to Azal. I don't like this new feed setup because you click like and you're not sure whether it's to click like or not. Hi to Dave. Welcome to all of our early birds. And hi to all of you that are watching but are not necessarily in the live feed. Come and join us. We don't bite. I might give a nasty suck, but that's a story for a different show. So yes, please be sure to, if you can, donate to Buster's ACL fund, and we will send him round when he's better to come and lick your face.
Aw, he's good at that. He's such a cuddle monster.
Yeah.
I love the way Buster.
Now he's a pit bull, isn't he?
Yes, he's an American Staffordshire Pit Bull Terrier, crossed with what I believe is a boxer. We rescued him. He was running down the side of the road, and he had one testicle that had not descended yet. So I think that was why he was rejected, because that is an expensive surgery. But at that time, we were both working. It was totally possible to take him in and take care of him, and we did that. And he's just been our faithful and loyal dog ever since.
Absolutely, and I as I said, I think that when you are an animal lover, it kind of it really does make you sad when you hear of stories like this. So if you are able and willing, please be sure to donate to Buster's Fund, and like I said, we'll send him around to lick your face. Now, can you just before Jason comes on, can you help us to dispel this myth that that pit bulls are vicious? Because people have this ideology that they are, and all the ones I've come into contact with are just like, they're cuddle monsters basically.
Oh my gosh, they're such big mooches. It really has everything to do with how the dog is raised. Well, I would say 99% of how the dog is raised. I mean, some dogs come out of the womb just all messed up, and they're just mean and not good dogs. It's like people, some people just come out of the womb all messed up and they're just mean and that's it,
Don't we know it?
But pit bulls, in general, are very smoochy and loving dogs, and actually one of the most decorated dogs in our U.S. military. I believe maybe even the most decorated dog in our U.S. military over our entire history was a pit bull dog. They're very loyal. They're very easy to train. They're very good with children. They used to be called the nanny dogs back in the early 1900s. People would leave their children home with pit bulls because the pit bull would protect the children no matter what.
Absolutely. Just one second, because I need to bring Jason on. Jason Prince is our entertainment correspondent. He's a writer, broadcaster, singer, songwriter, and TV presenter, and he joins us now live from London. Welcome back to the show, Jason. How is the world with you?
It's great to be back, Xander, and great to be broadcasting again from London, which is a big, rainy old London town here on this rainy old Tuesday night.
Yeah, it's kind of, the weather's weird here in New York tonight. It was kind of coldish earlier, but then it went a little humid this afternoon. Would you agree, Margaret?
Well, sorry, Margaret. How are you?
Hello?
Hello?
Margaret?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Jason's greeting you.
Oh, hello, darling. Yes, it was humid here today, but I guess you've got even more humidity there if it's just drizzling away.
Can you not hear, Margaret?
I'm just hearing you now. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, it's going from tropical summer to rainy day in London here, all in 24 hours, honey. So we're having random weather ourselves.
Absolutely, it's a little bit like that here. You know, we get some really hot weather, and then it's like winter again. I know that like further up, just a little bit further up the country, they've had snow this week, and I'm like, it's May, for God's sake. You know, give us the sunshine, give us the summer, and stop with this nonsense. Because I don't know about you guys, but I really hate when it's cold and snowy. It makes me want to stay inside, not do anything, and you know, get food brought in and drink lots of hot chocolate.
I think you're living in the wrong state of America, honey. That's what.
Yeah, I would agree with you, but you know, I keep getting all these invites to go and be on the West Coast, but I'm an East Coaster. It's I think it's just kind of like, you know, in the blood. You know, either you can leave and go to anywhere, or you know, you're just a total East Coaster. But you're not an East Coaster originally, are you, Margaret? Or are you?
No, I'm a Midwesterner. I grew up in Northeast Iowa.
Right.
Where the winters are very, very, very cold and dry, and the summers are very, very, very hot and humid.
I see. So there's no like general rule of thumb, is there, as it were?
Well, there's no rule of weather at all here in England now. It's either tropical sunshine or like the middle of the winter, all in the same week. So we don't know what's going on here, baby.
Yes, exactly.
Hot sake on a cold, rainy night. I love hot sake on a cold, rainy night.
Well, we will save that for another show. Hi, Connie. Welcome. Hey to Samuel, too. Hi to James. Let's jump into our first story in the entertainment segment. So Saturday Night Live has experienced a resurgence this season, which is apparently in thanks part to the comedy they can mine from President Trump. That was a Freudian slip. China! The show has sketches starring Alec Baldwin as Trump and Melissa McCarthy as Press Secretary Sean Spicer. Now, the Twitterverse suggested that Rosie O'Donnell should play Steve Bannon, but it didn't happen. And according to Leslie Jones, the show's boss, Lorne Michaels didn't want Rosie to play Bannon. And he said, when you're playing a character, you can't play it from hate. You have to play it from funny. Because when you play it from hate, it looks like you're just being mean. So my question to you both is, how many celebs are actually losing work due to being over politicizing about their beliefs with regards to politicians? Let's come to you first, Jason.
Well, we don't actually get Saturday Night Live here in London, but obviously I know exactly what you're talking about, though. And it seems since President Trump first said that he was running for the presidency, that we really have had just way too many celebrities giving their political views over.
Right.
And what I see is pushing their political views onto their fans and their followers. And I've never seen anything like it since Trump started to run for president. It's been like a mass, whether they was with him, but mainly for people that weren't with him, to push their views and their political beliefs onto other people. Now, obviously, every time there is a an election, celebrities do jump on whichever team that they're voting for.
Right.
But I've never seen anything quite like how they are at the moment.
Me either.
Going back to your point about celebrities doing a spoof from hate rather than from humour, obviously I love spoofs, and our best ones ever over here was French and Saunders, and I don't think you get in the States.
Unfortunately not.
So funny that even if they did want to say something political, because it was done from humour and from love, let's say, they could really make more of a political point. I think anything that's done from hate really isn't going to serve any sort of purpose at all. What do you think?
Margaret, let's come to you.
Well, I think it's all very fascinating. Listen, I do this show with you every Tuesday night because I'm fascinated by everybody's opinion about politics.
Right.
I love to hear everybody's point of view, and how convenient that celebrities already have the microphone, so we get to hear their point of view and why they feel the way they feel. And sometimes, they have explored resources that I haven't, and I get more information. So even if I disagree, I find it a very entertaining way to get more information.
Right. I mean, I totally see that, but I think that so many, some celebrities that over-politicize, because for me, it's fine to say as a celebrity, oh, I'm Labor, or I'm conservative, or I'm Republican, or I'm a Democrat. That's absolutely fine. But when you over-politicize and it costs you fans, and I know for a fact it's cost people work. I mean, just look at this. Rosie O'Donnell is, I love Rosie, but I hate her politics because she's too zealous with it. And the thing is that she's already lost work because of this, and maybe she can afford to. But I wonder if it's, let me give you an example. Lady Gaga started to get really political, and then when the fans kind of bit back and said, no, this is not very good, Gaga. We don't want you to be talking trash about the president. She kind of stepped back. So it's like, how far are you willing to go with regards to your ideologies? Are you willing to lose fans because of that?
Well, I'm with you totally on this, Xander, because when I used to, I've seen Madonna in concert loads of times, and the last 2 times I saw her in concert, I would say probably 15 minutes of the show was dedicated to her political views and beliefs, and I did feel like she was really trying to push that on the audience, not just expressing her views, but almost pushing her beliefs onto the younger fans and the followers. And I really think that people aren't going to a concert to really see that. They're going to be entertained, but
I would agree. What say you, Margaret? Do you, when you go to a concert or when you go to the theater, you want to see the entertainment rather than the politicizing? I'm guessing.
Well, yeah. I'm fascinated by all of it. I think I like to look behind the curtain and into the personality and the makeup of my favorite celebrities. I'm just thinking of Jo Baez. She was extremely political, still is extremely political, and I didn't always agree with her, but it was just part of who she was.
Right.
Like I said, I don't like it if I don't like proselytizing very much. I really don't like that. But because you kind of lose something when you proselytize. But I love it when people talk about their point of view. It just gives me a better insight into who they are.
Right. Yeah, I totally see that, but I definitely think there's a line with it. And I think it depends what point you are at with your celebrity. I mean, if you're like me and you're on the Z list, you do have to be very careful. But I've chosen a political angle to what I do. And although I'm a comedian and a singer and all of these other things as well, none of what I put out there is actually meant to be offensive. But I'm really offended sometimes by some of the stuff that people put out there, because it makes me... Go ahead.
Can I just say that when I'm a guest on your show, or I've been a guest on television shows when I've been asked about politics, yeah, great, I'll give my point of view. But I wouldn't use that in my shows that I go and do. I wouldn't express my views when I'm entertaining people.
Exactly.
I think what you're doing, you've always got a political angle to what you do on your radio show and your television show anyway. But I think that is something that you're well known for, and people are listening to your show for that reason. However, if you was going out to sing at a gay pride festival or sing at a bar, would you halfway through your show stop and force your political beliefs on.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Because I think that for me, there has to be a cutoff line. And like you said, if I'm invited on a show to talk politics, then I'll say exactly what I think. Does that mean that some people that disagree with my politics might not buy my album, the Platinum Prequel, by the way, available on iTunes? Yeah, it does. But that's kind of like a risk that I take. But I think that, you know, for instance, Will and Grace is starting again here very soon, and it's something that I've loved. But already people have said that they're not going to watch it because they're pissed with the two lead actors, Eric McCormack and Deborah Messing, with the stuff that they've been saying about the president. And I totally see it, you know? So you know...
I think people don't want celebrities' politics forced down their throat in general, and I think that's whether you are with Trump or against Trump. Other people's, it's nice to hear other people's viewpoints on the radio, on the television, if they're asked about it, but for it to be forced upon you in their performances, I think is a bit much.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to move on because we are a little bit time bound. So Ozzy Osbourne is turning being a dirty dog into a positive thing. As you probably know, last year he had an affair with a hairdresser, and his wife Sharon called him a dirty dog for his bad behavior. So coincidentally, the couple is backing a doggy daycare back in the UK and Buckinghamshire, England, which is expected to hold up to 30 dogs and will be located on a $6.4 million country estate. Now, Ozzy and Sharon currently have 6 dogs, and it's expected that they would use the facility themselves too. Now, the City Council in Buckinghamshire is expected to make his decision next month, and so far there have been no reported objections from neighbors. So, I'm going to come to Margret first because, you know, I don't know if you heard what we were talking about before you came on the show, but, you know, Margret is a you know, a dog owner. Or do you call yourself a dog parent, Margret? How do you feel about...
I'm definitely a doggy mommy.
I thought you probably were. What do you make of celebrities that kind of go into, you know, diversify in ways like this?
Oh, I think it's wonderful. It's a great idea. Listen, you know, most celebrities don't enjoy a long-term, you know, celebrity, you know, status. So it's always good to diversify and back some other projects that that they're passionate about, because who knows? I mean, this could be their retirement fund. Also, they're passionate about dogs. They always have been. So I think it's wonderful.
Jason, I was going to call you David then, I don't know why. Jason, what say you, David?
Would they get more publicity if Ozzy opened a bat rescue centre?
Possibly. But would you want Ozzy Osbourne to look after your pet bat, given what he's done to them on stage before? But apparently, he thought that was rubber, and that's why he did it. Because, you know, they rushed him off right away to get rabies shots and stuff like that. Sorry, 1 second. I just need to say to Samuel in the live feed, I'm sorry, don't know what's going on. Maybe you should refresh your page or check your version of Facebook on the device that you're using. So many people are having problems nowadays with watching the show on Facebook Live, and it's really annoying because, you know, Facebook need to step it up and really get their act together with regards to... Yeah, it's bad. It really is, and I think we really do deserve better. Facebook, I know you're watching. Get your freaking act together, okay? So I wanna move on to our last.
Let me say one thing about Ozzy Osbourne.
Sure.
How can he go from Black Sabbath to Black Chihuahua? I'm not sure about this.
I don't know, but I think that there's a lot that I could say there, but I probably won't, because I don't want to get kicked off the air so early. So I want to move on to our last topic, which I thought was quite funny. Now, Paris Hilton is back. Who cares, I hear you say. And she would like you to know that she invented The Selfie paved the way for other celebrity models and was the first bona fide reality TV star and pretty much created the concept of being an influencer. Also, she is modest and she's looking to redecorate. If a bleeper had a camera, it would have taken a selfie with it. Hilton explained during a recent interview with W magazine, "I think I have a selfie from when I was a little kid." Like, she went on to become one of the early famous people for being famous rich kids of the Hollywood elite, and her fame predated that of Kim Kardashian. "We started a whole new genre of celebrity that no one had ever seen before," Hilton said. "We all know that the selfie is an extension of the original self-portrait, but wait, hell, I obviously clearly invented the podcast too." So Jason, what say you? Did this Hilton woman invent the selfie and all the things that she's claiming, or should she just shut up and get on with her next project?
Well, I think she might have invented the selfie because being so rich when she was a kid, she was probably one of the first people to ever have a mobile phone that had a camera on it. Maybe, who knows? But I'm not sure that she should be boasting about paving the way for the new style of celebrity, aka the new style of celebrity, as in famous for having no talent,
yes,
rather than famous for having talent. I'm not sure that I'd want to go down in history as the person that changed celebrities from talent to no talent. Would you?
No, definitely not. What say you, Margaret?
Well, I think I think it's all great. I think Paris Hilton is crazy like a fox. And so she's just getting herself out there again and making even more money.
But does she need it? That's the thing. We talked about this last week about, why does oh God, what's his name? His name is dropped from my brain. He's just started doing live with Kelly. He presents everything, but now he's presenting live with Kelly. Why do all the same people need to be getting all the work? There are others out there of us that are more capable than Ryan Seacrest. Why does Paris Hilton need any more money?
Well, that's true. That's true.
Oh, sorry, Margaret. Go for it.
But she is a lot of fun. I mean, you have to admit, she's just so much fun. But yes, I mean, as an actor, sometimes I'm like, really? I mean, really, this person has to play this guest starring role on Law and Order SVU? They really need that money? Why can't I play that guest starring role on Law and Order SVU? I'm a redhead. Why can't I do it?
Yes.
I do get irritated. I have to admit, I do get irritated sometimes because I would like to see lesser knowns get more known. Lesser knowns who have an extraordinary amount of talent and who have been struggling so hard to get out there and share their gift with the world. But producers, they want to make money. They want guaranteed money, so they go with the safe bet. I'd like to see more producers taking more risks and going with, new talent.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. One of the things that I always tried to do from the conception of this show and the TV show is to involve talented bands and talented people that weren't necessarily uber famous, because the thing is that I'm not saying I'm uber famous or that any of us are, but we've all had to start somewhere, and 20 years ago, 25 years ago, there were very few people that were willing to give me a leg up, and so I wanted to be different, because you kind of do this, don't you, as well, Jason, with the work that you do?
I constantly give people a leg up to as far as I can take them. Obviously, I can only take them to so far, but we always encourage new talent in the studios. We always have new singers on our tracks. I'm always doing projects with new talent.
Right.
And obviously, I used to run the big talent shows on the London Gay Scene, which I did for 10 years, all the big talent shows. So we always had the winners in the studio and stuff. So, but I think that certain celebrities, not mention any names, if they have a lack of talent, say, and they know that they are lucky to be in the position they are in, then they're going to hold on to that with both hands. You tend to find that the more talented celebrities are the ones that are quite happy to help people on their way up the ladder, because they don't feel threatened by the new talent coming along if they have an extreme amount of talent themselves.
Yeah, When you said I'm not going to mention any names, the first person that dropped into my head was what's her name from the Spice Girls, who's the one that really can't sing, Posh Spice, Victoria Beckham.
Oh, right, yes.
And I met her once at an event, and she said, "Oh, I'm going to sing live, Xander. You reckon it will be all right?" And I was like, "Oh, girl, yeah, you'll be fab." But I just knew, because she's not really that good a singer. So she sang with a backing track that was so layered that all she had to do was like whisper over the top. So to me, you know, we do have to give people that are not less talented, but people that are new, a kind of like a leg up. Because, you know, I hope that when they're rich and famous, they'll remember me and say, "Oh, I remember that Xander let me come on his show." And, you know, help to give me a start. But yes, I think it's an interesting concept.
I think everything's changed in the world of entertainment. Years ago, people used to come up in the ranks as kind of a group, and you tend to find that the directors, the writers, the producers, the other actors and singers would sort of make it all at the same time, because they'd all sort of scratch each other's backs, and that doesn't seem to happen so much now. You seem to have select individuals that make it very, very big and then seem to hold on to their celebrity and their fame and their money with both hands for fear of losing it. I think it's a very different world now.
Absolutely, it totally is. Well, we're coming to the end of our time together, Jason. So tell us what you've got coming up and where people can find you.
You can find me on Twitter, Jason Prince DJ. You can find me on Facebook, DJ Jason Prince, and my website, clubkids.co.uk, KLUBKIDZ. And always catch me down at the White Swan if you are in London at the weekend.
Absolutely, and all of Jason's contact information is on the X-RAD Facebook show page for this week. We will speak to you again very soon, Jason. Stay safe, stay well, and we will speak to you very soon.
It's great to be back. See you, Xander. See you, Margaret.
Thanks a lot, Jason.
Xander, and see you.
Bye. That was Jason Prince. Make sure you check him out at clubkids.co.uk. All of his contact information is on the X-RAD Facebook show page for today. Hello, you're live on the X-RAD show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Xander, this is Chet.
Hi, Chet. I thought it was you. How's it going? Are you out of Facebook prison yet?
No, I'm not, and here's what's really ticking me off, okay? I've been trying to watch your show from the start till now, and it just, they're ripping the video off from me, okay?
They're doing the same to me.
I've never had this problem. Last night I watched your whole show. Now they're just not letting me watch it. It's unbelievable to me. I don't know what's going on.
I just clicked on it myself because obviously I'm in the live feed, and it's saying we are having trouble putting on this video, but it's been apparent for long enough that they're messing with shows, with broadcasts with conservative content, and I'm sick to death of it. You know, the numbers are low. People get sick of it because they can't see the show, and it really bothers me. So Facebook, step up, because it really is unfair. Just because Mark Zuckerberg is a big freaking liberal, it's not fair that you should stop conservatives from being able to do what they need to do on Twitter. Stop it, or we're going to leave en masse.
I'm so upset because I tune in every night, and this is the first night where I've re-clicked. I've gone on different, I've gone on my laptop, I've gone on my phone, I've gone on my tablet, and it's giving me the same answer. So right now I know that they're messing with us. And you have Andrea on right now?
No, we have Margret Echeverria.
Oh, hi, Margaret. Hi, Margaret.
Hi.
And, it's just, it's unbelievable to me. I mean, I'm really upset because I'm an everyday listener. I'm an everyday listener. I listen every day. Every day I listen. I know I'm banned from Facebook right now. But for me to go on and to get rejected multiple times, then I'm telling you, 20 times I tried, maybe 20, 25 times I
Well, I will be complaining after the show because it's absolutely disgusting. Because the content of the show, as long as it's within the guidelines, we're not performing, animal sacrifice or killing anybody. We're just talking about politics. We haven't even got to politics yet. And they're messing with us, but I know they're doing it to Joe's show. They did it to Andrea's show today, and it's really not acceptable. And if they don't stop it soon, I can guarantee you that people will be leaving Facebook en masse. And then where will you be with your advertisers? Just before you go, Chet, tell people who your Chet's going to be on co-hosting with me on Thursday, but tell people who your guest is on Sunday on Freedom on Deck.
Oh, Sunday, well, thank you for asking. We're actually going to have Matt Urhin on, and I don't know if you know who that is, but he was the gentleman that stopped the flag burning, and he worked for FedEx. Do you remember the FedEx guys?
I do. Yes, I do.
Yes, he's going to be on with us this Sunday, and we're looking forward to that. That's on anybody that wants to listen, that's from 3 to 5 on 949newsnow.com. And if you want to check us out, that's freedomondeck.com. But I'm really upset that I'm not able to listen to my X-RAD right now, and there better be something done. If there's not, I'm going to raise a whole lot of hullabaloo.
Well, thank you very much for that. I will be raising some myself right after the show. I just clicked again. It said something went wrong. Sorry, we're having trouble playing this video. Well, it's a live video, Facebook. Get your shit together or else. Thank you so much, Chet. And we will see you again on Thursday.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, buddy. Take care.
Far from animal sacrifice, and we're animal saving tonight. And
yes,
I present the liberal point of view.
Yes, exactly. So surely, this is not just like conspiracy theory because they're doing it to other people as well. And I'm sick to death of it. I'm just gonna have to start, broadcasting from my own website and put the link on Facebook because frankly, it's not acceptable that people shouldn't get to see the show. I mean, they're doing it to me and it's my freaking show.
Do you really think it has to do with the political point of view that you present?
I do, because why else would it be happening?
I don't know. Maybe so many people are using it that it's crashing. It might just be a logistics issue.
So buy a bigger server. It's not the problem of the people that are using the facility. If they can't cope with the volume, then buy a bigger server or stop doing it. It's not fair that.
I mean, it could be greed. They're trying to skimp on the service.
Well, I don't know, but I know a lot of people are actually saying the same thing as me, and I first of all thought, no, that can't be the case. But when I actually look at my numbers, it really shows me that something is going on, and it's concerning. I put a lot of effort into this, and if they're giving me this level of response, then something's got to give. Now I want to jump into our next story. President Trump reacted today to the Washington Post's bombshell with the accusations that he revealed highly classified information during his meeting with Russian officials in the Oval Office last week. Now, he said, as president, I wanted to share with Russia an openly scheduled White House meeting, which I have the absolute right to do, facts pertaining to terrorism and airline flight safety, the president tweeted. Humanitarian reasons, plus I want Russia to greatly step up their fight against ISIS and terrorism. Trump did not deny divulging what the Post describes as code word information, one of the highest classification levels used in U.S. intelligence agencies, to the Russian foreign minister and the ambassador. In a carefully worded statement delivered outside the White House on Monday evening, Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster, Trump's national security director, said that the Post's story came out as reported as false. At no time were intelligence sources or methods discussed, McMaster said. The president did not disclose any military operations that were not already publicly known. But the Post report did not say that the sources or methods were discussed, but they also didn't name their source either. Now, I don't know what you make of this, Margaret, but if we have intelligence that stops anybody getting killed, shouldn't we be working together with other countries to defeat a common enemy?
Yes. Yes. And we have to be very careful with Russia because, we have a history with Russia that has not always been of a trustworthy relationship. So, my goodness, I hope that, I just hope that secrets that would affect our national security negatively were not shared. I wouldn't take too much issue with the fact that the Post didn't share their sources. I mean, they didn't share their sources all the time through the Watergate scandal, and we all know that the Watergate scandal was true, and it happened, and Nixon was guilty. So, I don't know. This all makes me very nervous. This whole Russia thing makes me very nervous.
Well, it's interesting, from several perspectives for me, because the Washington Post have been proven to be liars, and the concern is for me that if you print something in the newspaper and it's not true, that's liable. That's libelous, and then they still expect to be invited to press conferences at the White House. If you publish things in a newspaper that are absolutely unprovable, should there be some action taken against you?
Well, then we wouldn't have the Post and the Daily News, Xander.
Great. That's a small price to pay for the media being held accountable for the way that they behave, surely.
Held accountable for printing false stories as true, for sure. But we don't know that this story isn't true. And that's what makes me nervous.
Well,
and the Washington Post is a pretty reputable paper. I mean, yes, sometimes they have to print retractions, but every paper has to do that sometimes. Sometimes they get it wrong. I mean, that happens all over. But, I mean, if you really want to take a paper to task, how about some of these other rags?
Feel free to name them. Here's what I have a problem with, and it's difficult. It must be difficult enough to be the president, but all of these things are in order to kind of shift focus from other things. And I actually think the Russia stuff was to shift focus about the things that the DNC did that were illegal during the election. And I think when you put stories like this out there, you've got to be able to back it up, because otherwise it means we can say exactly what we please, and that's not good.
No, that is not good. We can't just say exactly what we please, and we can't print opinions like they're fact. And I think there's been a lot of blurring of lines, especially in the last 15 years, of, just people reporting whatever they want to as fact. I mean, Breitbart is unbelievably loaded with crap, and people think that that's news. And, Alex Jones used to be fun. He's not fun at all anymore.
So
that was entertainment. That's
so do you
meant to be, and he used to do genuine investigative journalism, and now he's just like off the deep end, and people take those things as fact.
So do you have specific examples? Because I, with regards to Breitbart, because I always think that when Republicans cite stuff, I always want them to kind of like give examples.
I thought the article from Breitbart about birth control making women crazy was supposed to be funny, and then I realized it was, in all seriousness.
Wow.
In all seriousness. And I just thought it was disgusting. There have been articles written by Alex Jones and people that he employs to write articles for him that are about, the secret island where the Clintons are raping young girls. I mean, come on. That's ridiculous. That is not happening.
Whoa. Rewind. You're saying that you're saying that even though they've got proof from the John Podesta emails that the Clintons are not involved in child sex trafficking.
The Clintons are not involved in child sex trafficking. That is right.
Oh, wow. Have you ever looked at the John Podesta emails, Margaret?
I don't believe them at all. I think that's a load of crap.
But John Podesta worked for Hillary Clinton. So why would he be lying about Hillary Clinton?
Lots of people work for people they don't like and then say evil things about them afterwards that are not true. That's not new.
Well,
there are disgruntled employees who say all kinds of terrible things about the people who used to employ them.
let me ask you this, Margaret, and I'm not attacking you by saying this, but
Wait,
what would...
Do you really believe they're involved in sex trafficking? When would they have the time?
It would. What do you mean in between the money they stole from the Haitian orphans to pay for Chelsea's wedding and all the other things?
Either.
So you don't believe any of the things that have been suggested about them are true?
No, not those things.
Margaret, I love you, but that's so naive, because the thing is that if they're accused of 100 things, to say that 100 of them are not true is naive. I don't doubt some of the things they've been accused of are absolutely off the wall and totally baseless. But even the things that can be proved, like her inaction with regard to Benghazi, I was going to say Twittergate, man. I don't know where that came from. Cattlegate.
No inaction with regard to Benghazi. That's a bunch of trumped up.
Oh, Margaret, seriously.
No, there was no inaction. No. Look,
she failed and she lied.
Security at every embassy around the world, and Congress kept voting against it because the Republican Congress wanted to make her look bad and wanted to make Obama look bad. That had nothing to do with
it. Margaret, that is seriously. If you could just do one thing, I would advise you to check your facts on Benghazi, because she has blood on her hands with regards to Benghazi.
She does not have blood on her hands at all, and I have checked my facts. I watched the entire investigation, the congressional interview of her. I watched the whole thing, hour by hour. I sat through the whole thing.
She failed those people so badly.
She did not fail them at all. My mother is a rabid, a passionate Trump supporter, and she does not. She sat through the C-SPAN coverage of that investigation as well, and she does not believe that Hillary did anything wrong as far as Benghazi is concerned, because she watched. Just the questioning.
But with respect to your mother, who I have great respect for, that still doesn't make it that's true, does it? But
Congress asked her every question, every which way but Sunday that was hours and hours and hours. And she came out smelling like a rose as far as I'm concerned. Benghazi is a bunch of trumped up crap.
So you don't...
Look, it went terribly wrong, but it was not her fault.
But why is it then, Margaret, all of the things that she's been accused of, a lot of these things they've been able to evidence, like what I stated about the fact that she collected all that money for Haiti but never actually passed it over. How come that is so unbelievable when there is factual evidence for these things like Cattlegate and Travelgate, where she ripped off the government? She lost $6 billion while she was Secretary of State. How come, even though these...
That wrong. Listen, if you want to talk about things that she did that actually upset me, and things the Clintons did that actually upset me, and let's go back to, how they screwed us with allowing the banks to run rampant and do whatever they want.
Absolutely.
The banks completely ran amok, and the whole, mortgage-backed securities and all of that, it was the Clinton administration that made all of that possible. We can talk about that.
Well,
that is something to be very upset about. I'm suffering from that to this day.
So you're not saying that you think everything that she's done has been absolutely palatable and acceptable. You're just saying that you don't agree with all of it. Is that what we're saying?
Exactly. Nobody's a saint. Okay, everybody's made mistakes.
Excuse you, I am. Never heard of Saint Xander of New York.
But I think saying that the Clintons are involved in child sex trafficking is ridiculous. And I watched the Benghazi hearings, and I think that she, did everything that she possibly could. She asked for all the help that she could ask for, and Congress denied it to her because they wanted her wanted her to look bad. They wanted President Obama to fail. They wanted him to look bad from day one. We have the recording of that phone call from day one.
But Margaret,
Republican Party at that time.
Margaret, I never wanted. Margaret, I never wanted Obama to look bad because I was one of his biggest supporters. I never left the Democrats. They left me.
Mitch McConnell did, and John Boehner did.
So what about the evidence?
They all wanted him to fail.
What about the evidence that it's just been shared in the in the live feed regarding the flight logs that Bill Clinton flew on the sex offenders jet much more than had previously been known?
Look, even if he didn't do it to involve himself in child sex trafficking. If the owner of the what is it, the private jet?
All right. Okay, right. Let me ask you this then.
There are plenty of people that I have associated myself with who I found out later were up to some very bad things.
Of course, but
up to those bad things.
But you have to judge people on their whole behavior, not just little bits and things that they've done. But aren't you alarmed that she supported him for 40 years with all his sexual misconduct with the people he raped? Or don't you believe he raped anybody?
I don't believe he raped anybody. That's ridiculous.
Oh my God. Okay, let's move. Let's move on.
And look, speaking as a woman, more of us than you would think have put up with that kind of crap in our marriages, and we have survived, and we have healed our marriages again.
I don't doubt that, and I appreciate that married couples would be willing to forgive that once or twice, but on the level and continuum that he's done it, it's a different story. And when you actually threaten people to keep them quiet about what your husband has done to them, you have a level of culpability too there for me as well. And
I don't believe that. I really don't. I don't believe that Bill Clinton is a rapist.
But how? So all of the people that have said that Bill Clinton is...
They really have no integrity. They don't.
Wow. I think we'll let's move on because clearly we're not going to get anywhere. We've only got a few minutes left, but one of the things that I was talking to you about before the show is the GOP congressman that asked why men should have to pay for maternity care. And a woman's response is now resonating across the country. Barbara ranked 63 votes to a local newspaper, the Dubuque Telegraph Herald in Iowa, after Representative Rod Bloom made the comments at a town hall meeting last week. Bloom said he'd voted in favor of legislation that repeals and places parts of the Affordable Care Act to get rid of some of these crazy regulations that Obamacare puts on, such as a 62-year-old male having to have pregnancy insurance. His remark did not sit well with Rank. However, whoever was in the audience, in a letter to the newspaper which was published last week, Rank explained how the lawmaker's comment caused her to rhetorically ask, "Why should I pay for a bridge that I don't walk across on a sidewalk? I don't walk on a library when I don't read books. Why should I pay for a flower when I don't smell? A park I don't visit, or art I can't appreciate?" Now, the retired special education teacher continued, "Why should I pay the salaries of politicians I didn't vote for, a tax cut that doesn't affect me, or a loophole that I can't take advantage of?" Now, this goes on with a list of stuff. But what I want to ask you, Margaret, is this any different to a woman saying, "I don't want to pay for men to get the SNP. I don't want to pay for, men that get testicular cancer," or is this kind of like a sidestep issue with regards to the gaping hole that is the healthcare problem in the United States?
Well, look, here's the thing. Insurance works the way insurance works. Insurance is a pool of people who all pay a premium every month for a policy that covers certain things for all of those people. Insurance is not an individual thing. You're not really insured as an individual. You are insured as a pool. Either that pool comes from people who work for your employer,
Now, is that fair, though?
Insurance works. So this man doesn't seem to understand how insurance works. And I feel sorry for him, and I hope that he gets an education about how it works. But he just has a misunderstanding of how it works. You cannot pick piecemeal what you want to be covered for, because you're not being insured as an individual. You are always being insured as a pool. Even if you're buying your insurance individually, they are pooling you with other insured people. That's how they can pay for whatever happens to you.
But isn't that the same with I mean, I'm for there not being clauses of with regarding pre-existing conditions, but isn't that the same as expecting that? Isn't that the same as expecting insurers to say when you say, oh, you know, please don't cover things, please don't discriminate against me because of things I've had before? Isn't that the same thing?
Yeah, it is pretty much the same thing, right? I mean, listen, I may never get leukemia, okay? But my insurance covers it. And thank God, because whomever I'm pooled with, chances are somebody in that pool is going to get leukemia. I mean, it's just how insurance works. If you want to not have insurance and just pay for whatever happens to you, and you're wealthy enough to do that, you know, go with God. Be on your way.
Right.
Have fun. But I guarantee you, something awful is probably going to happen to you sometime between 42 and 45. It happens to all of us. And you're going to have to pay a shockingly high bill.
Right.
And you're going to wish that you didn't have to pay it all on your own. But if that's your plan for your life, go do that.
Right. But what about then because, you know, I have a theory that the government shouldn't be involved with insurance. However, what they should do is that they should ensure that the American public are not ripped off, because one of the byproducts of
Exactly, isn't it, Xander?
Yes.
They have to go at it from a different angle.
Yes.
Somebody has to go into these hospitals and go into what they invoice for and how much they're invoicing individuals for. Common people with common jobs who make $15 an hour. Okay?
Right.
Let's think about them. And let's think about not charging them $20 for a Kleenex. How about that?
Right. But you know what the problem is, don't you? It's because we're a capitalist country, and one of the byproducts of capitalism is that doesn't stop the government from preventing companies from ripping us off. And that's a concern for me, because I think
We
that
have to prevent companies from ripping us off. And we're not a purely capitalistic country now. We never have been. There's always been regulation because, look, if somebody's not watching over you, you're going to run amok most of the time, especially if you're a corporation.
Well, I think it kind of depends. It depends who you are. But the reason that they've not prevented,
the CEO of your corporation is, but these days,
right.
you know, 25% of CEOs of corporations are, you know, certifiably psychotic.
But the reason why they've not prevented this is because they get a cut of the money. The government gets a cut of the insurance money. That's why they allow us to be ripped off. And that's not, you know, I'm not talking about the Trump administration. I'm talking about every government that there's ever been, whether it be a Democrat or Republican government.
Yeah. You're talking about that. I mean, that's just ugly, ugly business, right?
It totally is.
You know, free trip to a golf resort if you support this bill that, you know, allows me to make money off sick people. I mean, how do these people sleep at night? Really?
I have no idea, but I definitely think that Europe have a better handle on it. You know, even in the UK, because they don't pay a monthly premium in the UK. I mean, I don't know if they do now, but they never used to. They just used to pay when they needed to see a doctor, and they would pay a percentage based upon how much they could afford to pay. And to me, that's much simpler than gouging $500 from someone every month that they really can't afford to pay. That is a problem for me. Gosh, I just saw the time. Healthcare is something I could talk about all night. People are even saying in the live feed, you know, the only thing government can do is line their pockets with our money, and that's absolutely true. But the concern is, for me, that regardless of whether you consider yourself to be a Republican or a Democrat, we're all getting ripped off, and nobody seems to change it. But let's see. I think that maybe Donald Trump we'll change that. But let's watch this space. We are out of time. Thanks to everyone who's made today's show possible. Thanks to Jason Prince for being our entertainment correspondent. Make sure you check him out at www.clubkids.co.uk. Thanks to my co-host Margret Echeverria. Tell people where they can find you, Margaret.
Well, the most important thing to me right now is that you find Buster on GoFundMe.com.
Yes.
It's called Fix Buster's ACL. Buster's is the possessive of Buster. Fix Buster's ACL. And give whatever you can to help my puppy get his surgery.
Absolutely, and if you didn't get that link from the live feed, you can actually get that from, I shared it on my page. Thanks to everybody in the live feed. I'm so sorry about the problems. I am pissed with Facebook. They need to get their act together. Margaret will be back with us next week, so have a great week, Margaret, and I hope you get sorted out with Buster.
I love you so much.
Love you too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And thanks to all the live stream people, far too many to name. Let's just hope this sorts itself out tomorrow night, because I'm getting pretty sick of it. I really do love you all. Screw you, Facebook. We will be back with you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Love, it has been good to me this time around. Things were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweet.